And that brings us to our next session. And I'm pleased to welcome Davey Davin, founder of Webrix. Davey, been a minute since we've talked. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Eric?
Doing very, very well, sir. Glad to see you. Glad to have you on our Low Code Marathon.
Always.
Uh, yeah, and we're really looking forward to your session as well. I love talking about real life examples, and I know that you have some great content to share with the audience. So we'll be talking about leveraging low code technologies to lead customer-centric strategy. International patient-centered experience. I just love the title of this because it really encapsulates a lot. So what I'll do is I'll have you grab control of the screen, and I'll let you start your presentation. Let me know if you need anything.
Yes, thank you. Before I start, I want to say I love David's presentation. I think he should get his own TV show. So
right.
Thumbs up. Thank you. So yes, we're talking about the International Patient Center today. I think I'm controlling the screen. Perfect. So International Patient Center, a Dutch founded company, by the way. It's a joint effort of KLM Health Services, which is the Royal Airline in the Netherlands, the Erasmus Medical Center hospitals, and the Schiphol Group, which is the Dutch airfare organization. And IPC is taking care of patients in over 80 countries now. And as we slide. So what did they do? So let's say you're living in abroad, America, wherever, and you need specific medical support. You want to have a surgery in a specific medical field, and you need an expert. Then IPC will help you with the right assistance, with your travel arrangements, your medical arrangements, your appointments at hospitals, and everything in the Netherlands. So, as I said, they have a partnership exclusive with Erasmus MC and the Royal Schiphol Group and KLM Health Services. I want to show a bit about what we did for the IPC with Creatio. And it's actually a fun story because IPC was one of our first customers for Creatio CRM. So although we have a lot of experience with CRM over 17 years, this was one of the first customers, and it was a new company. So when IPC was founded by the three organizations, that is actually when we stepped in. And that was in 2017. They signed with Creatio, and we had to launch very quickly because they had to start. Actually, they said, next week we want to start. You know how that goes, Eric. Everything is next day. So we did development, training, and launch within less than a month, which was impressive. And then we used February, March for iterative development and deployment of new functions. And then in March 2020, a new team has been assigned to IPC. That means all the employees changed, and everybody had to look and learn at Creatio again. Happy to say that they picked up Creatio really fast. It's really user-friendly. You know, you don't have to think too much. The program does the work for you as it should. So as I said, the launch, very short timeline. They wanted to get the whole online requests for treatments, follow up and running as soon as possible. So we did less than a month, 3 weeks, and we were up and running for IPC. So as I said, we started when the companies founded. Obviously, they didn't have a CRM, which also meant we didn't have any business process. We didn't have any data, nothing to look at and say, okay, this is how it should work. So it was a very intensive, agile approach to connect with the customer, go live, go on site with the customer, have all these meetings and kind of brainstorm sessions to see what do you want, what is your needs, what do you want to do for your customers, and how do we translate that in a no-code environment in Creatio. So obviously, because Creatio is very flexible, that was a big need for them with the COVID pandemic. Obviously, COVID touches every industry we know. Makes it very difficult if you focus on a specific branch and workflow. And it was therefore that in Creatio, with the workflow is very dynamic. You can change workflows on the go, even when users are working. And that was something not only IPC loved, but other, especially nonprofits, which had to change very quickly because all the donations went down. That was a must too. So as I wrote down, they didn't have any specific requirements. They want to go soon, as live as possible, so that either the team that could work with them on site, think with them, and kind of together build this whole CRM environment. A bit of the patient flow. So people, clients, patients seeking treatments from abroad in the Netherlands. And it could be a personal request, could be a GP's request, medical request. They contact IPC via online. So you fill in your online medical details, you make a request. The doctors actually in IPC and Erasmus Medical Center do the assessment for your patients and get feedback. And although this patient flow looks very simple, obviously you know how it goes in Creatio. Every step has automated flows, have a lot of data you need to take care of, check, especially with the GPDR, which is a huge thing for the last couple of years, how you keep your data safe. And there was also all kinds of things they looked at when choosing a platform. Security is very important. It also, again, points out that the security of Creatio obviously checks all the boxes, no problem there. From all the data in transaction, you get obviously the medical information, the trip preparation, people arrive in the Netherlands, they need transport, they need housing, hotel, or specific housing at the medical centers. And then obviously the admission in the hospitals. And that could be either one appointment, could be surgery in and out the same day, could be weeks, could be months. And IPC is tracking all that information, make sure that they get picked up at the hotel, be at the appointments on time, be at the surgery on time, and treating, like joining them all the ways, just like almost like a buddy. After the treatments, obviously, aftercare is very important to make sure that in combination with the travel agency and KLM Health Services, that everything is arranged. If you had your medical treatments, you have surgery, you need, for example, oxygen on the plane, everything that needs to be taken care of is usually pretty difficult procedures. IPC makes sure that all those procedures get done, and you can just step on your plane, go home, be with your family very easily. Very important. So a single view of patient. Obviously, one patient can have multiple treatments and requests. So you have to make sure that when a request comes in, Creatio makes sure that we recognize that patient, we link all information to the correct patient, update all the information correct, not only in Creatio, but also to any other system that is connected. And usually these medical systems, website integration, a lot of online treatment request forms. Obviously, during COVID, they had to seek other ways to expand. That's why they expanded to Russia, to China, working in America now as well. So different web forms in different languages, which also makes sure that Creatio can be available in different languages. So if you use the Creatio portal, customer portal, partner portals, those people can see the information in an interface in their own language, which really helps understanding the questions, the information that they see. Obviously, registered not only the request, but almost the treatments, the medical assessments, receiving estimates and quotes for hospitals, offering quotes to patients, invoices to patients, all the appointments, aftercare and follow-ups. And as I said, like medical hotels, medical transport, home care, medical supply, everything is taken care of by IPC. So what we build is obviously the integration with the web forms. And I'm just happy to say that IPC is taking care of their own web forms now, because Creatio cannot only do a lot, but is also very friendly to use and to adjust. So if we look at IPC at this moment with the team, all customizations they do themselves. So we only get phone calls sometimes like, hey, I'm trying to build this process. I'm not sure how this works, but 99% of the work is done by IPC employees directly, which is awesome. Obviously, building treatment objects for intake, medical assessment, quoting, invoicing, traveling, planning, treatment, aftercare. And as you know, they build their own case flows. They adjust their own screens. They even build their own business processes, which is maybe the most difficult thing of Creatio, if you can call it difficult. They can do anything they want. I really love that. And they also help us with a full translation to a Dutch environment. And obviously, thanks to all the other regional partners, to any other language needed to be in the portals. So what did we learn from IPC? Well, obviously, get a lot of knowledge. As I said, IPC was a starting company, which means we didn't have any information to start with, to base our knowledge on. So communication is always key. That means go to your customers, talk to your customers, keep asking questions, make sure that you do it together, and that's also one of the good things about low code is that you don't have to like the old water flow. You can easily change your processes. If they don't like what we build today, we'll do it differently tomorrow. Communication is key because don't wait for answers too long. If you're waiting for your customer to come back to something, it might be because they either don't understand your question or are very busy, but just make sure that keep that process going. Just be proactive, get in there, and maybe just design something as an example so the customer gets a better view, an idea of what is possible, and that will give them much more ideas to build further on. Obviously, in the whole flows, we build a lot of complex business processes. And that's a good thing about Creatio. The way we build business process, maybe easy to know, is we use a lot of sub-processes. And in that way, if you have long and complex business processes and you use sub-processes, it's kind of working agile, So just break it up in little pieces. If you want to change something, do it in one of those pieces. Easier to test, easier to find any issues if there might be. So that is the use of the sub processes. So what did we do differently? Well, it was different because, as you know, one of our first Creatio customers that was new not only to us but also for this customer. They knew that, so we went into it together, had a lot of fun together, a lot of good meetings, and we built an awesome environment, which they are very happy with until the day of today. So that also means you make a lot of changes during that process in the years, and because they were a new company, maybe at the beginning every week at least, and after that every month, they're like, okay, but maybe we can do this differently, or maybe we can do that. And in any system, that creates a lot of clutter. So the great part of Creatio is you can change field to a non-usage, so they won't even see the field anymore. But just as a service to this customer, also we created a new clean environment and transferred all the data. So they could start with a very clean, brand new environment with all the old clutter. I think keys to success are a partnership between the customer and supplier. As I said, we're doing CRM for like 17, 18 years now. We worked with a lot of CRM vendors. And I must say that I love the relationship we have with Creatio, because how fun is it if your vendor supplier doesn't only listen to you, but also to your customer? So that is one. Very personal relationships is a must when you deal with a CRM supplier. And also take the time to make sure you get to know your customers and offer them the best service. And that means sometimes you just have to go that extra mile, So it doesn't matter if you spend time in your customer. Some companies say, okay, but that's money, we should charge per hour. But I mean, if you want to keep your customers for the long run, just make this a healthy relationship, that should be balanced. And it also means, like, if your customer grows, you grow. And it's never about the short term. If you sell and you lose your customer, it just hurts your reputation. And I'm happy to say that every single Creatio customer we have is a happy one, and we will never ever gonna lose one.
That's great. I love to hear that, Davey.
Yes, I went through it very fast, I think, Eric. Because
Yeah,
we
no,
have a
that
lot
was
of time.
very good. I mean, so I don't think you and I actually sat down and talked about, International Patient Center. I was probably as amazed as the audience as you kind of went through all the ways that low code was utilized to create such a, you think about all those moving parts, everything from intake to aftercare. And all the things that might change in between that. I can't imagine putting together, and coordinating that whole, process without low code. So just an amazing story. I was completely impressed.
Thank you, definitely. Now, I mean, low code is so easy to use, and it's also something we will keep discussing today. We will be back in a session or two,
Yeah.
and then go a bit deeper on the subject as well, together with David and Yuri.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, and I know that. Yeah, and the chat is like alive with. Yeah, I think you've got some admirers. I see hearts and things in the chat. But there's a great question, and since it is the low code marathon, I'll ask it here. So, if you had to choose one, what is your own personal favorite thing about low code?
well, I think my personal favorite thing is the thing that I see every day when I need to give help my customers with demos is I'm not the developer. I mean, my colleagues know everything about development and they can build everything they want, and I never could. And now with Creatio, if the customers ask something here, I need a new screen, or I need a new business flow, I need a new business process, I can build anything they want. So where I, with previous systems, would need my colleagues in a project for, like, let's say I could do 60% myself and they needed to do the rest in coding. With Creatio, I can maybe do 95% myself, which not only awesome for me, but also like for the customers. As I said, at IPC, they're making their own changes. And that's exactly the way we like our customers to work. We always tell them, try. Every customer has an acceptance environment where they can play with Creatio or use a trial version, and they can call us whenever they need to. But it's so easy. And that makes happy customers.
Oh, 1,000%, 1,000%. And that's always the way, when I'm talking with customers or we're starting to work with customers, it may start off as a small use case, right?
Yeah.
And then once they see like what they can accomplish with it, it just grows from there. And you see, light bulbs going off and big smiles. I love it. I love it.
I had a question yesterday at a demo. Somebody asked me, what can Creatio not do? To be honest, Eric, I had to ask my colleagues and they didn't know either. So if somebody knows, just let me know. So
yeah, exactly. That's always a question. What can you automate with with the Creatio platform? I hate to say it, but virtually anything, like anything you want.
As long as you have the data and you have the logic, it's possible.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, Davey, I appreciate you joining our session today. As always, amazing. And thank you for joining again. It's going to be well represented on day 9 of the Low Code Marathon.
Thank you so much for having me. Good luck, and see you in a bit again.
Thanks, Davey.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers.